Welcome back, Officers of the Republic. Is your Coruscant Underworld Police Chief AP Gaines here, and I am joined by, he wanted me to call him, the quote, the Nev Mate from GSC Center.
Hello, Governor.
Surprisingly, he lives in America, which means we can enjoy his company without bashing him because America is the greatest country on earth. America is like the 69th level of the Coruscant Underworld. Just nothing is quite as good as it. Do you agree?
You're all traitors. You're all traitors.
Oh, man. Yeah, I think it wasn't about the taxation. It's just tea is just absolutely disgusting. It's just not worth drinking. All right, today we are
I'm
going
English and I don't even drink tea. I drink coffee. I don't even drink tea. Don't like the stuff.
This is the man of the people right here. I knew you guys would like him. We're going to talk about the new update. It was heralded as, a great UI fix, lots of great changes. I foolishly believed that we were getting some stuff that, they didn't give us, and we're going to talk about that really quickly. So I'm sure all of you guys have seen the new update because they forced it upon us like, a bad iOS update. The colors look weird. The squad tab is a little confusing. There's some issues that we're going to talk about. The big thing is they didn't give us ship squads, even though I was fairly sure when I read the post that we were getting ship squads. What were your initial impressions about the update, just from like a looks UI, game interface perspective?
From a user interface perspective, I was intrigued, to be perfectly honest with you, because they made changes that it's like I can't quite understand why they made certain changes. They made some additions, but they made what, in my opinion, are unnecessary changes. The way that they've moved things around, I look at that and I think, well, was that absolutely necessary? Great additions, the perfect example would be the squads, recommended squads. That's great for new players. New players coming to the game that don't necessarily know what the best squads are. They haven't found Discord communities, they haven't found YouTube or Twitch communities yet. So they're new to the game. They might be playing 12 months before they discover this whole new world. And, they're not 100% sure what can and cannot go together. So from that point of view, I think that's a great addition. And the biggest bugbear, I think, for me was the color scheme. It just seems off.
It's so stupid.
The Gear 13s are brighter than the yellow Gear 12s and the Gear 11 purples. It's almost like they've dulled down one color and increased the brightness of the other. And it's like I'm looking, right in front of me. I've got it open on my phone. And I've got JTR next to Poe, and Poe's purple and JTR's like bright blue, and I can barely see. I have to squint at my phone to see what the purple gear is, because it's so dull, and I'm kind of like blasted with this fluorescent blue. So the color, obviously the colors need to remain the same, but I would just kind of like tone down the brightness. They need to do a couple of hot fixes, I think.
I agree. You said originally some unnecessary changes. I was going to go into a fantastic joke. I've since forgot it, so we'll come back to that point. But you can't see my screen, but the viewers can. I oftentimes open it up, and now for me it's 6 in a row as opposed to 7, which is, not the end of the world. They added the squads tab on the left. Sure, whatever. We didn't ask or need that, but I'll accept it. But I oftentimes find myself opening this to farm some gear because I have all of the new Kenobi requirements favorited. And I just I spend 30 seconds staring at the screen before I can identify where Qui-Gon Jinn and Wat Tambor and Cad Bane and Cody are. I'm just staring. I'm like, all right, I see my relic Kenobi and Yoda and Jango, and Shaak Ti and Mace I can kind of see because they're Gear 12, but I'm just like, where is everyone else? And they're right in front of me. It's so weird. You touched on it perfectly. I just cannot look away from the super bright colors. And did anyone ask for that? Did we need that? Did they not test this at all? Do they have super dim monitors over at Capital Games? Is it because it's so bright in Sacramento? They just not prepared for the rest of the world. I just hate it. I don't know what to say. I hate it.
Maybe they've got, they do only have one laptop. Let's not forget they've only got one laptop. So maybe maybe they're maybe it's a crappy old laptop and it's running at 59.9 hertz.
Hmm.
Who knows?
I think the thing
Um,
is, one person sitting at the laptop and the rest of them are crowding around. And you know how you look at a computer from an angle, you kind of get the weird
yes,
color distortion. I think they just needed to bump up the relics so people be like, "Ooh, look at our shiny new Relic 9 General Kenobi and our
maybe it
890
is.
shards of C3PO."
Absolutely, yes. So someone's looking directly at it, and because it's not an IPS screen, everybody that's looking at it from an angle is like, "Oh, that's nice," but the person at the front's like, "Really? You all think, okay, I'll keep it that bright."
Yeah, the real
So
question that we
yeah,
got to get to the bottom of is who sits at the computer? Who's the head honcho? Everyone knows I'm the CEO of Capital Games, but I work remotely, so I'm not in the hot seat. I'm on the Republic microwave, not on the CG microwave. So we'll have to get to the bottom of that eventually. All right, so we talked about color. Now general like UI stuff, like the movement of the squads tabs. You talked about the addition of the recommended tab, the lack of ship squads again. How
yeah.
do you feel about all of this? Obviously, like now there's 4 ships to a row if you're playing on BlueStacks on the computer as opposed to like 7 or 8 that it used to be. I like that the
Hmm.
icons are bigger, but now I don't memorize the order in which my ships are when I don't filter for power, so I just like spend so much time looking for stuff, and I feel like I never had that issue before. I could always just like open up my characters. I'm like, well, I know that generally this is how my GP per character lays out. So if I scroll to like, if I'm looking for Nihilus, I know he's under Zalbar because Zalbar has a Zeta and Nihilus doesn't. So I see Zalbar and I'm like, oh, Nihilus must be. But now I like scroll through and I just have no idea what I'm looking at. How do you feel about all these like movements?
I like the extra size. I think that's nice. So you're not trying to squint at some tiny little icon. So I like the increased size of the ship. So you're looking at something decent size. So you get to appreciate the art. You do get to appreciate the
The
artwork because
polygons.
don't CG love talking about that. Well, they used to. They used to love talking about the artwork. Um, but yeah, no. I don't know if it's. I'm not quite sure. Um, it's. I don't know it. I suppose it's just going to take some getting used to, really.
Yeah.
Every time they do user interface changes, there's this initial shock of, oh, you've changed something. What do I do? Like for example, perfect example would be the introduction of the relics. We had a massive user face interface change when they introduced relics. Things moved from left to right, from right to left. You could see things. So there was there were big. There were some quite large changes. There were some quite large changes there, but the ship. Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to get ship loadouts. I still think it's going to be a while before we get a ship loadout because obviously it was done using the spaghetti code, um, and they've already explained on several occasions how time consuming. Not, I don't think it would be particularly hard for them, but it's man hours.
Hmm.
It would take a lot of man hours for
And
them
it
to
wouldn't give them any money.
complete.
It'd
No,
be.
no, exactly. We're talking. I mean, there's no doubt in the back of my mind that it is a side project for one of their developers. One of their developers has probably got, here you can spend 5 or 10 man hours a week on the side writing because it's going to have to be written in brand new code. They can't just take the spaghetti code for that is currently running it and simply plonk it into the new engine. They would have to write new code for the new engine, and obviously ships is quite large.
Hmm.
I mean, we need more ships, but there's a lot of ships. There's a lot of capital ships. There's a
Hmm.
lot of interactions with characters. So it's probably going to take hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of man hours in coding to give us a ship loadout because they'd have to transfer ships over to the new engine. And I just don't think there is the will for it, especially right now with the new galactic nodes. You've got galactic challenges and you've got galactic conquest,
Hmm.
and all of their efforts, it would seem, are pursuing, new and interesting and fun ways to kind of push that mode onto us. So, not that I'm complaining. I mean, I'm not a big fan of challenges, but I do think that Conquest is an excellent mode. Not always fun.
It's an
I don't always.
understatement.
It's not always fun. But it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be fun for us to be able to appreciate what an excellent mode it is. I mean, it
Hmm.
really, really is an exquisitely good mode. It's just not always fun because you don't always get the luck of the draw regarding data cards. You get excellent data cards, it's fun.
Yeah.
You don't get good data cards, it's not fun. That's the luck of the draw. Ask Ranger, my co-host at GA Center, how much he enjoys mods. He doesn't call it mod depression during his lunchtime stream for nothing. Nobody enjoys mods, but we appreciate that if you get
You
that luck of
get
the
on them,
dice
yeah.
and you get on them and that sweet sweet nectar feeling when you roll a 25 speed mod. It's like, oh yeah. Ugh, it just gives you a broner, doesn't it?
It does, it does. I'll be like panning through the Discord, and it'll be like normal activity. My Discord's always very active, but when someone hits the 25, 26, the Discord explodes, and like everyone's tagging me. I'm like, guys, it's a mod. I'm in class right now. Leave me alone. Like, but it's got 26 speed secondary with 100 offense, and I'm like, okay, guys, I'm sorry. I got to get back to school. And they're like, it's the greatest mod that God ever invented. I'm like, okay, guys, go throw that on your
It's,
Jedi
it,
training ray and put it on defense or something like that.
exactly. Every time you get one, it's like the greatest mod ever. Oh my god! And then 6 months, it's the greatest mod ever. And then 2 weeks, oh my god, I got one like yeah. So
Yeah, I
so
had that
yeah,
with.
so obviously tangent there. So yeah, coming back to the ships. Yes, it would have been nice to have got a ship squads, so that we can do loadouts for various different squads. But I do think it will eventually come. I just think that it's not their highest priority.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing: we've got this new user interface, right? And underneath ships, you've got all and you've got favorites. So uh, it's it's kind of it's set. We've got characters, and then we've got squads immediately underneath. We've got ships, so one would hope that at some point down the line they'll be able to just add the extra tab because there's a lot of space down that left hand side, and all we need is squads underneath the ships tab. So I think that the new user interface has been not just generated for the sake of changing it, but they've done it so that they can add extra things down the left-hand side, maybe because being able to access everything in game from one inventory does kind of, I mean, we all know that you could do it before. All you had to do was go to the top left corner and click on the arrow. And the amount of people that have been playing this game for like a year, 2, 3 years that did not realize that that little arrow top left took you straight to ships and you didn't have to come out and then click on the ships tab. Yeah, that's what that little arrow was for. But no, I just think that they've changed the user interface so that they can make additions down the left hand side. Who knows? X amount of years. Maybe that rumor from 3 years ago that that they're going to bring in vehicles to the
Made a
game.
video on that.
Might be, and this type of user interface would facilitate something like that
Mm-hmm.
without them having to create another, a character screen or a ship screen. They can just integrate the whole thing into one one interface, one user interface. So you can see your characters, you can see your ships, you can see anything else that they want to add into it. But yeah, no, the squads are great. I like that little addition for the various different for the GLs and for the legendaries. It shows you what you need for Clash on Camino. It doesn't show. It just gives you the recommendation. But the one thing that I think I've discovered is I'm trying to tap on a squad, and it doesn't let me. It just, it doesn't matter which. It goes to the character. So it's like trying to find a space between the two characters so that the squad opens instead of just the character. Because I've got my 5v5s open now, and I want to open the squad, but it won't let me just select the squad. It keeps selecting the character. So you've got to like click on edit, and then
Yeah.
it opens your squad. But when you're like, I like to switch between different arena squads when I'm doing squad arena.
Mm-hmm.
And this is definitely going to cause problems for Grand Arena Championships. I'm sure it will. Where you're trying to select the squad, but you tap on the character, or whereas before you would tap and hold the character to open an individual character. Now the user interface is you're trying to tap on the squad, but it automatically goes to the character that you selected on. So there's that. But you brought up a very, very interesting one just before you started recording, which was the when you were selecting your teams for defense, it doesn't show it as highlighted as red.
Yes. That pissed me off. I almost didn't set my defense because the video isn't out. I didn't live stream my last Grand Arena. So I'll put this video out after I publish that video, so there's not a huge spoiler. But I've been going on a Galactic Legends suck early tangent, and this is why. So my opponent, if I go in here, he's got a Relic 7 Omega, or not Omega, but Ultimate Kylo. He's got all the trimmings of someone who rushed a Kylo team. So I just placed a defense that he couldn't beat. He did 0 attempts on the bottom. Up top, he beat one team. He beat the weakest team. Actually, he beat a Padme one shot, dropped 2 battles against both other teams up there. So he cleared one team. I saved literally nothing for offense, went out, cleared 4 of his teams, one after one, just messed around afterwards. But when I was setting the defense for this week, obviously I'm not doing the same strategy because my new opponent doesn't have a Galactic Legend. He has a more traditional account with a bunch of teams. I needed to set a completely new defense. Normally what I do is I set my main defense in the first week or the first day of the week, and then I just let it auto set for the next 2, and then I reset it because I use the same defense because I'm lazy. But now I go in and I was setting a defense, and it's not going to let me click it, obviously. But you go into your normal squad thing, and it wouldn't gray or red out the teams that I already placed. So I couldn't remember what teams I placed where. So I kept like trying to place like a Newt Gunray team, and I'm like, it says this team has already been deployed. I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't remember. And then I had to like go through each of the different zones and be like, all right, where did I place my random Karth team? Okay, where did I place my stupid HK team? And it took me like an extra 30 minutes to deploy my my defense. It was just like that they had to have actually changed, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's something they had to have purposely removed, and I just don't understand why they would remove something like that. Well, I guess it's a totally different interface. So they probably built it from scratch. Maybe they just forgot to add that little thing in there specifically for Grand Arena. Because in other modes, if you're doing, I don't know, Conquest or a Galactic Challenge or a Squad Arena Battle, that red character thing doesn't exist. But I almost didn't set my defense. I was like, I'm taking a break. I'm taking a 1-week break from being a streamer. I'm just not going to bother setting my defense. But yeah, that really pissed me off.
I mean, there are some great additions in there that I think will be like really, really useful for Grand Arena. I mean, the showing the mods.
I love that. Yeah, I hate mods, but I love that.
Showing so you see your squad and you can see your mods. I mean, it's not just great for Grand Arena, great for especially great for territory battles, because you can quickly tap on the mod. So you've got your squad that you take in to, for dark side, for dark side GOTB, for the I don't know, for the Watt mission, and you want to make sure there's my geos for the Watt mission. I'll just quickly tap on mods, make sure that the right mods are on it, and it's great. You can do that without having to go through each individual one. I think that's great. But specifically for Grand Arena Championship, I'm liking the rename and arrange, because what I tend to do, what I had with my squad loadouts is I can see all of my squad loadouts. And I'm looking at my team's offense, and it's like, right, okay, so there's a candy, there's Karth Candyman, there's Kira Mission Zalbar, there's that, and I'm thinking, I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking to myself, right, okay, so I need that counter, that counter, that counter. So you could have a squad that is a counter for 3 different teams or 4 different teams, and you can actually name that squad. So Treya counter, GL count. You don't have to. I mean, I know a lot of because you couldn't name what the squad was. People would have GL counters as a whole tab, or they would have, Revan counters, or JKR counters, gas counters, things like that. You could actually put all of your squads, all of your offense squads, in one tab and simply name the squad what it is a counter for. So you're scrolling. So you get to the back line. You've got I don't know, 2 teams left. There's a GG team, and there's a GG team, and there's a nuke team. And you're thinking to yourself, right, okay, and you're instantly right, what's a counter? And then you're into your squads, and you're like, well, that's not a counter. That's not. And you could actually just scroll through your squad loadout and it'd be like, oh, hang on a minute, there's a GG counter right there. Bang, select, you take it in, away you go. So I really, really like the convenience of of actually being able to rename the squad, because obviously in my squad loadout at the moment everything just says default. So I'm going to be able to, what I'll more than likely do is I'll bring up a counter sheet on swgoh.gg. I'll find the most successful counters, and then I'll just match them up with match them up. So I've got a JTR resistance squad in front of me. So I'll go on swgoh.gg and rename it from default to all of the teams that squad will counter. So if I see it and it's on the back, and you've gone through all of the tough teams, and you're on like your B teams and your C teams, you can get a wealth of knowledge from not just swgoh.gg. I mean, you can go and look at the the spreadsheet from the Gambit crew, or you could go and look at the counters that the playbooks put up.
For those of you watching this on YouTube, those are Twitch people. The purple one, not the red one. It's the purple one. They're the purple people.
No. Come on, the playbook. Zara Prevails is on. I mean, here's the thing. There's a lot of cross pollination.
There is,
okay? Yeah. There's a lot of cross pollination. So a lot of the circles that I move in, we all do our live stuff on Twitch,
and then upload it on YouTube,
and then it gets produced and it gets put on YouTube. I mean, I can give you 2 people that do that every single GAC stream off the top of Yeti, Swugger Yeti, and Dylar's Twi'lek Tactics. They will both stream their GAC on Twitch, but they'll give themselves, they'll do an intro and they'll do an outro, even though it's live, just so that they've got 2 points, and then they'll edit out the stuff before their intro, and they'll edit out the stuff at their outro, and then that's it. They'll throw it up onto YouTube 24 hours later. They'll do a little bit of selective editing and throw it up that way. But
so those of you who are AP Gains fans, that's what production value and integrity looks like. What I do is I go live and then I unlist the stream because it's a hot pile of garbage. I'm not gonna edit it. If you want to find it, you got to go look for it very hard. It will not pop up, because unlike these good Swigo people, AP Gains just does not simply care.
I'll give you production value. You're still recording this, right?
Yeah.
So I have so my little studio here. You can see obviously all my stuff behind me. I have several cameras. So there's that one, and then I have my GAC stream camera, which is hello, that one. And then when I'm in the throne room, or I'm in the bar,
the chair,
or if I'm in the bar, or if I'm feeling really cheeky, the hot tub, I then switch to the green screen studio, which is there.
See, I'm going to switch over to my face cam only for the boys. All I have, and you can't see this, is wall of sexy people and like a third of my bed behind my left shoulder. That's the production value that I have. A whiteboard and a half of a really small bed.
So I've got 3 cameras. I've got 3 microphones. because I've got this. I've got the lapel mic that I tend to use, so that I have a little bit more freedom of movement, and then, I've got obviously, the main microphone there, and then I've got this headset with microphones. So yeah, you just bits and pieces.
Guys, we'll
You'll
get there
get
one
all of
day.
these.
We'll get there one day.
You'll get.
It's
I mean, dude, I've been doing YouTube, specifically Swagger, since October 2018.
that was
So
before I
I
was
started
born.
on YouTube. I started on YouTube. My first 12 months were all YouTube,
Big
and
brain.
then the second year was pretty much all YouTube, and the third year has been pretty much Twitch.
YouTube
But
supremacy.
yeah, no,
Baby.
for from October
Oh
2018
shit!
to
I
October
punched myself in the
2019.
face and I lost the headphones. What'd you say?
Yeah, no, sorry. From October 2018 to October 2019, I did daily content. I used Warrior's 4-pillar system, which then became the 5-pillar system. And I started a brand new account from scratch and just did day one. Because I went on YouTube, I was like, what is nobody in the Swagger community doing right now? And nobody had successfully done a daily video of following the pillar system. A lot of people had done the first month and then got bored and just stopped.
Sounds
Um,
like a SLKR rush that I've heard of.
but yeah, no, I mean, my channel, I mean, my personal channel on YouTube does not have that many subs. I mean, I think I've got about 375, which is pretty pathetic for an account that's like 3 years old. But I do everything on the Escape Podcast YouTube channel and the Escape Podcast Twitch channel. I don't really use my personal accounts.
Oh, guess what?
for
I
much
have
anymore.
a podcast now. I got tricked into starting one. It's gonna be tonight, 6
Oh
p.m.
yes, it is.
Pacific Standard.
You're doing
Swago University, baby.
Swagger University.
Oh my god, it's gonna be so bad. It's literally me, Ian, and the Star Wars guy, like three of the biggest memers ever, and we're gonna try to be serious for like an hour. It's gonna be the funniest thing in the world. We're gonna get like
I mean,
15 minutes in and be like, I didn't prepare any other questions. All right, thanks for watching, guys.
No, you've got some good company there. I mean, Ian, it's just Ian is one of the he's one of the best theory crafters. He is
Just surprising
definitely,
because he's an
one of
idiot.
the best. Yeah, he's one of the best theory crafters. We covered Ian on GA Center for the first 2 seasons of the show. Yeah, he's good at theory crafting, but boy does the guy get some pretty shitty RNG from time to time. Got the amount of times that he should have had a 3-0, and the curse of round 3 just kind of smacked him in the face was just ridiculous. I think the only other person that suffered worse RNG than him was Heinze.
I got some good unreleased clips of Heinze from a collab I did with him. They're still waiting from like 4 months ago. They're still waiting to hit the streets. They're pretty damning. So if Heinze ever crosses me, this is an official warning, Heinze. If you ever cross me, I can end your career.
The thing is that he's done some pretty outlandish stuff. He is an Aussie.
Wait.
So
Yeah, I guess he would be uncancelable.
I know that's not that's no excuse, but it is a reason. He is Australian.
Yeah, he's just
Love
like you,
Heinze.
just a degenerate. The
Get
Australian
ready to
heritage
kick his
is pretty
ass in
strong.
the Ashes.
Are you playing him, or he's in your bracket or whatever?
No. At the Ashes. It's a cricket thing.
Oh, I've never watched cricket in my life. All I know is, do you call it bowling or something? What do you call it when you throw it?
Where it's the ball. Yeah, the ball is bowled at the batsman. Yes.
It's not thrown.
That's it. No, it's not thrown. It's bowled. It's bowled.
Sounds
Very
like
fast as well.
Yeah, those things.
There are people that bowl at batsmen in cricket, and they bowl faster than your pitchers will pitch a baseball. And you've also got to remember that the ball is harder, it's heavier, and it's thrown at the ground and then bounces up at
Is it like a lacrosse
the
ball where
batsman.
like it's got a legendary second bounce that just goes wherever it wants?
Well, yeah, certain bowlers can do some really, really messed up things with those. They can make them swing. They can make, oh God, they can make them swing. They can make them bounce. Yeah, and the padding that batsmen have to wear because these balls are coming at them so fast. Yeah, it's
I've seen one thing of cricket in my entire life. Well, two. I live in an area where there are a lot of Indian people because I live in a place where there's a big company that hires a lot of them, and they love cricket because
Mhm.
it's like a big national sport.
Oh yeah, no, it's the number one national sport.
So it's like if you like went to a bunch of American kids and they were playing football. I just see kids playing cricket in like all of the parks. I'm like, what on earth are these guys doing? They're just cricketing, and I never understand it. But I watched one. Like, do you guys have World Cups? I don't know. You guys have like a big tournament or
Yeah,
something?
no. There are three. There's see, there are three formats. There's three different types of cricket. You've got 2020, which is each team just does 20 overs. Then you've got one day. Then you've got one day cricket. And then you've got test match. Test match are the ones that last 4 days. You know, a test match will last 5 days. So that's starting in the morning and finishing in the afternoon every single day for 5 days
So
before
what's like
it's either a win,
a
a
big
loss, or a
tournament?
draw.
What's like the Super Bowl
The,
of
the, the, the
cricket?
big, the big, the big, the two big tournaments. You've got the 2020 World Cup, and then you've got the World Cup. The
Okay.
World Cup is one-day internationals, so it's literally each team gets one innings, a single innings, and an innings is usually 50 overs, but you could bowl out an entire team in less than 50 overs. So one day international tends to be 50 overs. I think it was about 10 or 20 years ago, maybe might be as many as 20 years ago, they came up with a new fast, quick format, which was 2020. And that's a lot of fun, and the Indians absolutely love it. A bit like you've got all of the best players in the world want to go play in for football, what you refer to as soccer. They want to go play in the Premier League, and they want to play in Italy, and they want to play in Spain with like Real Madrid or Manchester United or Bayern Munich or um, Lazio. When it comes to cricket, everybody goes to India
Because they
for
have
the
the
20,
best
you know, for the
league.
20, for the 2020 league. So because that's where everybody wants to play, and they get paid fortunes. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a very enjoyable game to watch. 2020, because my God, you drink in all the stadiums. People just get absolutely sloshed, and that's one of the reasons why I'm looking forward to the Ashes cricket, which is England versus Australia, because me and Heinzie and Scotty McLaren, we're all going to be getting absolutely hammered while we sit there and live stream watching the cricket. It's going to be a lot of fun
Watching, do you call it the cricket?
watching the cricket. Yeah,
You don't just say watching cricket.
you
And that's why we won the
works both
war,
ways.
because we have a better comprehension of the English language.
You cheated.
You guys use
You got
"use" in
you,
all of your words. You guys
you
use "you."
cheated. You didn't. You had to cheat to win the war. You cheated.
How
You
did we
got help
cheat?
from the French and the Germans.
I wouldn't
So,
call them help. When have the French ever helped anyone in a war when they weren't led by a midget?
well, they helped you, and then they went north of the border and created Canada.
Those damn Canadians. I hate
Well,
Canada.
those damn
If
Canadians.
you're Canadian, stop being Canadian right now. You can't tell I'm pointing a gun to the camera right now. Cease Canadians.
Yeah,
Unless it's Tonka David. Tonka, you're allowed to be a Canadian.
yeah.
All right.
Dylar and Yeti are both Canadians as well. They're good guys.
Yeti's a
They're good
degenerate,
people.
but he's got some great stories.
Uh,
Absolute degenerate, Yeti. I'm sure you
next
haven't
time,
watched 34 minutes and 12 seconds of this, but Yeti, if you have, you're a degenerate. And I think my
next
sub
time
to
you
you
speak
just
to Yeti,
expired.
next
He's a
time you
big
speak to
dude.
Yeti, ask him to do his Scouse accent.
His Scouse
His
accent?
Scout, yeah, a Scouse. An accent of a region of the United. It's a region in England. Liverpool is a region in England, and they have an accent, and it's called the Scouse accent. His Scouse accent sounds better than people that actually have Scouse accents in Liverpool. It's that good.
That's pretty funny.
Ask him to do it next time.
He's an
Next time you talk to
international
him.
man of mystery. He's definitely an interesting guy. And I think he's what? He's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He's 14 inches taller than me and like maybe 100 pounds heavier than me. So.
Wow. Okay. So you're a little guy then.
Short king is what I prefer. 5'3" and proud. Short guy. All right. On that note, we're ending the video. No one calls me short
Okay,
and gets
mate.
away with it. You absolute
Okay.
bastard. All right. Any closing remarks to 69th Precinct before we head out?
No, just give the user interface time. Hopefully they'll, they've listened to people and community feedback before on issues. So, if everybody can unanimously come to an agreement on some specific issues, maybe they'll sort them out.
They did give us Julie Bindo back, thanks to AP Gains. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Subscribe. I know you guys probably haven't watched this long, but we're trying to get 6969 subscribers by September 1st. I love you, and I will see you later.